Hello, my name is Alex Biondi, and thank you for this opportunity once again, Professor Baghdadi. And to begin my presentation on ecofascism and how it has recently regained its prominence following two of the most lethal extreme right terrorist attacks. Most importantly, I'm going to be more specifically diving into the terrorist attack of Christchurch in New Zealand by a 29-year-old male. But before we go into that, I'd like to start off with what fascism really is, which, of course, the fascism system is fascism is a system of government which is typically led by a dictator and is violently suppressing opposition, criticism, and has control of all industries within their nation. Which really starts with the two main forefathers of fascism, being Benito Mussolini and one who greatly supported his ideals, Adolf Hitler. And so, that being said, I'd like to go ahead and go a little bit further in depth as to a development of fascism, which is now called ecofascism, which was defined early in 2005 by a historian named Michael E. Zimmerman. And essentially what he defined ecofascism as was a totalitarian government which requires their people and or their followers to sacrifice themselves and whatever kind of interests they had for the better of the land. And so what really composed an eco-fascist individual would be groups and or individuals which came together as environmentalists with fascist ideals and far-right radical ideals. And so that being said, Brenton Tarrant, was a self-proclaimed eco-fascist, which he claimed as he was being arrested on his way to the third mosque that he was heading to in the massacre of Christchurch, which he had killed 51 people and had injured 40. That being said, some forefathers which really some forefathers of what eco-fascism really was on the extreme right radical side, which could be similar to Brenton Tarrant's case, such as Hitler worshiper Savitri Devi, Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber, and a misanthrope environmentalist, Pentti Linkola, I believe it is, with extreme ideas or extreme solutions and ideologues for environmental degradation and overpopulation, and their ideas of solving them and, of course, taking action on them, unfortunately. And so, as aforementioned, Brenton Tarrant didn't particularly have any association with eco-fascism, but of course radical right ideals. As announced in several articles, they did announce that they were looking at him as a white supremacist, which in terms of targeting, he targeted 3 different mosques and particularly Muslim people. Which of course could be similar in terms of these Nazistic ideals as Adolf Hitler, but on a much smaller scale. So in terms of what Nazi did in committing genocide and to find a more powerful race, which can similarly and or sort of be seen in this case with Brenton Tarrant. And now that being said, as mentioned in the prompt, Graham Macklin went ahead and aforementioned the spiritual link that exists between man and nature in the thinking of Nazism, which could greatly be seen here in what Brenton Tarrant committed and almost show as to his thought process and why he was committing these crimes. Thank you for the opportunity once again, Professor Baghdadi. I do believe that's going to be the end of my presentation. And yeah.